Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, October 11th. I have the day off again, and I have a long list of things to do today. Man, did I ever sleep good last night. And I had a really, really great conversation with my brother last night that I want to tell you about, and some real talk that we had about certain situations, and he called to wish me happy birthday. My birthday was yesterday, and so we talked for about 30 minutes. I do not talk to my brother a lot. He lives in Southern Illinois. I'm up here for a long time. We were on different schedules. He worked nights, I was days, and he's not a big talker. He is not like me. But when he talks, he has a lot to say. So I want to tell you about some of that conversation. So some, I wished him he wished me a happy birthday, and then I told him that I wasn't coming down to Illinois on the 22nd of October for the bean dinner that the family is having because frankly, I usually go to bed between 8:30 and 9. I don't want to spend the night. I don't want to drive down and then drive back at night and get home at 11 or 11:30 and be half asleep driving on the road. I don't have the money to spend on a hotel room. I could spend it in the house down there, but that would still put me up probably at 4:30 in the morning while everybody else was asleep, and me like tiptoeing around the house for 3 or 4 hours because I can't make any noise. So there's just a lot of reasons that I don't want to go down there, and I was telling him about it and that I don't necessarily trust my truck, being out that late at night and that far away from home because there's just a few things wrong with it, and I don't know, maybe it would make it, maybe it wouldn't. So that led us into a lot of different conversations. One of the things that I was talking to him about was the rumor that I talked about in yesterday's video about the elections maybe being canceled here coming up in November, and what that could all bring out. Well, he told me something that Tim Pool did on a YouTube video. I know who Tim Pool is. I watched him back in the beginning. I do think he's a good guy. I haven't watched him for a long time. But when he said his name, I knew exactly who he was talking about. Tim Cast, I think, is his channel on YouTube. I have not watched this particular video, but what he said, or what Tim Pool said, was that the Democrats were talking about canceling the elections because of wartime. And I was like, really? So the Democrats want to cancel the election, potentially cancel the election because it's wartime. And I guess if you can't have an election, you can't kick anybody out of office, right? I would think that might be the reason why they would not want to have an election. And then the other side doesn't want to have election because of the cheating that happened last time. So that's like a real big pickle right there. Neither side wants to have another election. How the hell are they going to get themselves out of this one? I'm kind of like, I hadn't even thought about that until he brought that up. I hadn't even heard anything about that. I mean, I don't listen to 100% of everything that's out there because I just can't bring myself to do it anymore. But that was so interesting that that's what the Democrats were talking about doing, was canceling elections because of wartime. How fascinating. One of the other things that we got on the subject of was he was like, well, if I'm having problems with my vehicle, there does become a certain point where it's time to get a new one if you just keep sinking money into it. I'm like, I cannot afford a car payment. And based on conversations that I've had with a lot of people, there's not a lot out there, and what is out there is super expensive. And he was like, yeah, he's like the car lot down there in Robinson, he said it's like very bare. And he said, yeah, he's like, I've heard a lot of the new cars out there haven't come into existence yet because there are chips that they can't get their hands on. And so we were just talking about, the real things that are going on in the world. And sometimes I have some comments from viewers that I think they have forgotten that we are still living down here, and that when you take your car into the shop, it costs 3 times more, and they have your car for a week because they can't get their hands on the parts. We also started talking about the lack of workers. He works at Hershey's down in Robinson, which also used to be the Heath Candy plant. I used to work at the Heath Candy plant when I first got out of college in the sales and marketing department. So he's like, we have such a hard time keeping people working. He's like, they come in, they quit, they don't show up for work, they get fired. He goes, we didn't used to have that problem, and we have job fairs all the time. And I said, I'm like, where did all the workers go? They did not all die during COVID. Where did they all go? So that's my question to you. And do not use the excuse that they're all living off of government money, because any of those stimulus checks that are out, that was not enough to literally pay somebody to sit at home and do nothing. Everybody did not go on Social Security. Everybody is not on disability. There is a large market of people that did not go back to work or quit their jobs. The young people, he said, the young ones being one of them. We don't have a large group of young people that want to be mechanics or plumbers or whatever. So that being said, I was thinking about that this morning, and I don't take this the wrong way, but you're going to take it however you wanted. At least when the deep state was running things, we had workers, because they had everybody so focused on money and paying the bills and living the rat race. Everybody, was trying to get more. So they had to have a job to get the money to have more. And now there has been that shift in a lot of people where money isn't everything. And the happiness is more of everything. And then that leaves a big gap in the workforce. So I do want to know, where did everybody go? I know 2008, 9, 10, that was when, after the market tanked that last time, I ended up having to move in with other people to cut my expenses. So I guess that's my question. I mean, everybody probably knows somebody in this situation. I don't necessarily know anybody in this situation. But is there a lot of communal living going on? Is that what a lot of people did? Did they all move in together so they could share expenses? Did all the kids move in with their parents, and are they living in the basement so they don't have any expenses? Is that what has happened? And that's still not going to solve the problem of who's going to work in the car places, making the chips and making the cars, and being the mechanics and being the plumbers and whatever. We are not at that point yet where they have those replicators that are available and they need a part or whatever. We're in that gap time right now. So who's got some brilliant ideas of, like, how do we get ourselves through that period of time without losing our minds? And where, literally, I'm like, where did everybody go? What is everybody doing to support themselves? Again, the government is not the one that's doing it for everybody. Maybe a few, but not, I do not feel like it's the majority of the people that are sitting at home collecting government money, and that's what's supporting them. That's just, I just don't feel like that is right. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm curious about. Was there anything else that we talked about? I don't know. I'll say this. This has a little bit to do with the quantum healing session that I had on Sunday. I haven't been able to go home. And when I call home, I mean Southern Illinois, where I grew up. I haven't been down there for like 3 years. When I was younger and I would get out of sorts, and get very out of balance, I could go home and something about home would ground me. And there was stuff that came up in the quantum healing session about not being able to go home and get myself grounded. I'm going to say that conversation with my brother, I feel like was exactly what I needed to know that he's got his head on straight. He may watch different stuff than I do, but that was one of the things, just having that conversation. I know he knows what's going on. And he even made the comment, he was like, he goes, I just don't get it. Some people just don't get it. They don't get what's going on. So he may not know all the details that we all know because of some of the channels that we watch. But again, I have a new appreciation for the people that do watch different things, because they are getting some of the different information that maybe I'm not getting or we're not getting, because maybe a lot of us watch some of the same stuff. But yeah, that whole, oh God, now my nose itches really bad. Sorry. So that was just interesting to think. It's like one side wants to cancel because of wartime and the other one wants to cancel because of cheating. How are we going to get out of this one? Okay, so comment below what your thoughts on everything that I have said. And I have a lot of plans today, so you're probably going to see me wearing the same outfit in multiple videos, because I'm not going to go change my clothes every time I do a new video. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. I think that's it. I will talk to you later. Bye.